elevator. Ain't no time to live like slums. Ain't no time to be no bum. It's time to elevator.
Oh, how's everyone doing out there? Welcome to the Runway Show. Hope everyone is alive and healthy and prosperous. I love all my chosen people who is awakened and is teaching and educating and walking in their destiny. Let's take a moment and breathe in some fresh energy. Sometimes we need to step out in nature. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about some very important topics, but we're going to start in section 1 and we're going to discuss technology.
Be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool to use the computer, don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on, the battlefield's in the mind. The prize is the soul.
Yeah, see, you heard that. The prize is the soul. So, why everybody's running around here chasing money and things and wigs and jewelry and you name it. The real prize is the soul. That's why that scripture that says, that holy scripture that says, what is it for a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Very true statement. Very true statement. Whether you're religious or not, it's a very true statement that applies to every man that's walking this planet. Because if you do not apply that to your life, you will fall into the rabbit hole. And we're going to get into a big discussion today. This is a very lengthy video, so please bear with me. So, we've been lied to. We've been told that the devil comes to steal and destroy. But what if I propose to you that it's people that come to kill, steal, and destroy? See, we've been believing in a lot of fantasy, seeing a lot of cartoons and characters, and we never take the time to really open our eyes and look around us and evaluate situations. The truth is presented, okay? Because it is our right, human right, to know the truth, okay? And it is your choice, your free will, to choose to believe in lies and go along with the programming, or to free yourself and to live your destiny. So we're gonna watch a couple videos. Some of them are lengthy, some of them aren't. But this is going to break down every question that you may have wondered or wanted to know, and you just didn't understand or didn't know the person to go and ask the question to. Well, here is a very wise person. My grandmother prepared me for this day a very, very long time ago.
I think so myself if I had to go to Vietnam. I think if I went and took all the punishment and everything happened to me while I was in Vietnam, and then come back home and couldn't have a decent bed to lay down in and not a decent job, I don't think I feel like ever going back no more. It's for my country. I wouldn't feel like it's for my country. Not especially for my part of it, for me. I feel like it's for the other fellas instead of me.
When I think about that and how hungry people are in the South, then it makes me a little sick to say, how can they spend all that much money in another country and really not doing nothing at home? See, I think charity began at home and then spread abroad.
Mississippi is a small state and a poor one. Federal funds...
One of the Sodoms and Gomorrahs of America and the world. Lot would run back to God and say, I need power, God. If Moses came back today with his rod and Pharaoh in Washington with all his high-powered technology would look at Moses, and when Moses cast his rod, Pharaoh would come down with some magic that would send Moses running back to Jehovah. I need more juice. Got to have some more juice. Because the juice I used 4,000 years ago was able to subdue the Pharaoh of that day. But I need some high-powered juice today to remove the power of this wicked one today. Am I lying? No, sir. Nothing you got will work against white folks. You got the ghost, but let the ghost help you against Reagan. Let the ghost help you against the Ku Klux Klan. Let the ghost help you against those that are snuffing out the life of your children. If the ghost can't help you and me overcome the condition that we are suffering from, we need to go back and tell God we need more ghosts, more juice.
Not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. And don't worry if you miss your cue, because there's always doors opening. They keep opening. And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You'll come up with your own style. That's part of the fun. Oh, and why not take a chance on faith as well? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dad. Never have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. Thank you.
You heard that. Choose love, okay? Love yourself first. That's number one. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself first. Love yourself first. Love your family. Love your community, okay? Don't matter what color you are. If the people are loving on you, they're celebrating you, show them love, okay? We're moving on to section 2 regarding the plan. The plan to destroy people, humanity, all over the world. You notice I did not just say the United States. I did not just say Africa. I did not just say India. The plan was to destroy the world. But there is a certain percentage of people who know about the plan. There is a very small percentage of people who is in on the plan, okay? And I won't stress like small, but comparison to the world and the amount of people, the people who's controlling the world, the numbers are small, okay, if that makes any sense. So, you wanted details, you wanted footage.
Mutilations were also characteristic of African cultures.
There you have it.
This was just one of the numerous such examples found throughout Mesoamerica. With the African presence in America firmly established well before Columbus, let's look at how they affected the culture of the New World. In the 18th century, the French missionary Pierre Maillard documented the hieroglyphics used by the Micmac. They lived in the areas of the Great Lakes, next to the Canadian province called Quebec, north of New York State. After Maillard documented their glyphs, they remained relatively unimportant until the 1970s, when Barry Fell undertook a comparative study of these glyphs with their Egyptian counterpart. The similarities were so numerous they could not be attributed to chance. See for yourself. What followed, however, was an example of the many denial attempts by historians that many of us have become accustomed to. Historians did agree that the similarities were beyond what pure coincidence could explain. However, they dismissed the idea of Egyptians reaching the Americas as impossible, even though it has been well documented that Kemet had seaworthy ships.
So what he is speaking on, he's speaking on north of New York State, where I live, where I reside. Okay? He's speaking on my ancestors. Okay? Okay? This is how they start. This is where they started. This is the starting point of how this race of people got in and starting brutally murdering and stealing and destroying our families, killing off our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-great-great-grandmothers and grandparents, and raping them. And I mean, it was horrible. Okay, so when we read this American history and whatnot in school, they're talking about us. That's why we're sitting in class dumbfounded, like, okay, foreigners, okay, what's going on here? Okay. The whole time, they're talking about us.
They were given notice out on the street, leave town, leave town. They're killing all of the black people.
An entire community was destroyed. Their wealth was taken from them.
It looked as if it was Hiroshima. Atomic bomb had gone off. What few trees were left had no leaves. They were just charred.
And then the story was suppressed until almost now.
So yeah, they've been doing this. They've been conquering. They started in New York and worked their way down. The top of New York, Canada, worked their way down. Okay, later on in this video, I'm going to show you where they come from and, you know, how they got here and you know, and whatnot. Okay, so not to stay stuck right there, but they came and worked their way down from the north all the way down to the south. Okay, and if you want to get deep, they started with Australia. Okay, each place in this world had brown people, okay, dark people, okay, and each place in this world, those dark people, if they are not sellouts, if they are not Uncle Toms or Uncle Sams or whatever you call them, okay, they are in poverty. They are treated unfairly, okay, they are treated, the cops are stereotyping them, they are not in fair positions and jobs. They're not paid for their worth. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with, and this is the majority. This is around the world. This is not just the United States. This is not just Africa. This is not just India. This is everywhere where there's brown people. Okay, and until you brown people wake up and start singing Kumbaya and we shall overcome again, we will never ever overcome anything. Okay, we're going to keep falling down these rabbit holes. Okay, the problem and why these people don't like you. Okay, we're not going to talk about the part of why you want to be accepted by these people, but the reason why they don't like you is because they come from a very poor place, a place where it's deserted, it's cold. Okay, there's no vegetation. Okay, it's not a Garden of Eden. And instead of them coming in and saying, can we just have a little portion, and that is actually what they did do, and that's the reason why the Indians, they were able to come in, okay, because the Indians broke bread with them. Okay, there were treaties signed that they can have a certain portion of land, okay, because the Indians knew that they didn't own any of this. Nothing belonged to them. They're very spiritual people. Nothing on this planet belongs to us. We know we can't take it when we die. Only people who is come from a place where nothing, okay? Only people who come from nothing become greedy, jealous, and figure out ways to scheme and scam and manipulate in politics and all this different monarchy, okay, all this different stuff comes in that did not exist before these people came here on these ships. Okay, so let's talk about these ships real quick a little bit without going too deep. These ships that's described in these history books are people who were black and they were African, and they were brought in from Africa because they were prisoners. They were exiled from Europe. Okay, so they were not worthy of anything. So when they came to the New World here, they knew they were slaves. They knew what they were. They knew it wasn't a big deal. Okay, but for people who are from here and they have a spiritual being, okay, and they believe in morals, they didn't understand that. Okay, so these people had to make a plan to trick them to get in on it. And we're going to discuss later on why dark people feel like that God has cursed them. Okay, we're going to talk about that because there is some truth in that. We have walked far away from God. We're at the point now where we don't even believe that there's a God. We have lost our way tremendously. We have been lied to, of course, and now the lie is out about who is God and what is the name of God and whatnot. So there's a big war, spiritual war going on regarding that. But when you can remove yourself from that and find God in his nature, her nature, okay, because God is feminine and masculine energy. God understands the male and the female. God understands his animals. God understands the way the wind blows. God understands the way the ocean flows. Okay, so it's not he who is lost, it is us who is lost. Okay, and we're going to get into some great details about the angry, how God is very, very, very angry, very disappointed, very sad, and we're going to talk about that too later on. Right now we are living under a curse. Okay, we're not going to get into the details about the curse, about God's curse, but we're going to talk about the curse of what man has given you, okay, of what you can see, okay, because anything that's in the spiritual is in the natural. So we have to talk about what's in the natural first. So when I said you were taught that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, okay, that's in the spiritual. Now let's get into the natural. People come to kill, steal, and destroy. People have came and stolen and killed and destroyed. Okay, I want you brown people to understand and know that your life was not set up this way. Your life was not set up where you had to sell yourself short, where you had to exploit yourself, where you had to rob Peter to pay Tom. We didn't live like this. Okay, your ancestors had wealth. Okay, they knew how to build. Okay, we had community, we had a language. Okay, we had a Wall Street. Okay, of what everything that is mimicked and copied and perverted and turned upside down, we already had. Okay, but we have lost ourselves in the fear of what man has put us through. Okay, and it's not just one color of man. There is one color of man leading, okay, that's the most cold-hearted because of where they come from. Like I said, we're going to discuss where these people come from. Very small place. That's the reason why their numbers are very small, and they're trying their best to get you to have abortions, colored people, so that way they can get their numbers up and we can keep our numbers down, so they can conquer and rule this planet for the next maybe 1,000 years, who knows? Okay, but I want you to understand, brown people, that we are not in the business of ruling anything, because we have a ruler, and the ruler is more richer than anything that we can imagine and see in this natural realm. We know that. We have the eyesight of the spiritual realm, so we can see heaven. That's the reason why we discuss heaven and hell. We don't discuss hell a lot, but we discuss heaven the most. Our dreams are filled with heaven because we are spiritually connected, okay? And the issue with the people who come from a cold, deserted place is that they don't have that capability. They don't have that ability to love, that ability to embrace compassion, the ability to forgive, the ability to move on. They don't have that ability because guess what? God has cursed them. They have did such a destructible thing on earth that God has set a curse upon their head that is never to be lifted. And their judgment is already been planned out, already been told to them. They already know there is no forgiveness. There is no, their job on earth is to make sure that we are steered in the right direction. Their orders from God that was given to them was to steer the Son of Man into the right direction so they don't sin. That's what their job was to do. But they said, screw that shit, because we're not being forgiven. We're going to make these niggas pay. Okay? That's what they said. They said, since they are being shown favoritism and they are the chosen ones and they can go out and screw up and mess up and still have the love of God over in and through them and be forgiven, screw them. We're going to snatch as many of their souls as we can. And that's what they're in the business of doing. They know their days are numbered. They know that time is running up. This isn't a coincidence that there's a big awakening happening. This isn't a coincidence that now the truth has unveiled itself. Okay? These people, these were your people, your colored people, building buildings that still exist till this day. Because when they destroyed what we had, they put us in bondage and made us build up for them and ruled over that. Okay? It made us have to beg. Come sit up and beg. Okay? They destroyed your black. Look at your black Wall Street. Destroyed. Okay? Down to the doggone flat. There's no vegetation. What can grow there? Okay? Look at that. No trees, no nothing. Destroyed. Okay? And we're gonna talk about the tools used for destruction. Okay? And I'm going to position you in a position to be spiritually equipped and spiritually strong, that not one arrow shall fall by your side. Okay? See, I don't know, I wasn't there, what happened with our ancestors. But what I've been praying for is for understanding. Understanding. See, we started mimicking. The Lord showed me we started mimicking the beauty of what we thought was beauty and was really our demise. Okay? Now we can't stop loving money. We can't stop loving material bullcrap. Okay, we running out. Joneses competing with the Joneses. Okay, lost in the sauce. Shackle free, but mentally bound. And this is from the church to the hospital to the schoolhouse, everywhere, because you're living in a program. Okay, that saying that says you're bought with a number, you're bought with a price. It's true. Okay, the United Nations, who is the people, the 200 fallen angels, have said, screw us being the helper of the Son of Man. We're going to destroy them. If God won't forgive us, we're going to destroy man. Okay? We'll keep the women to keep producing for us, but we're going to destroy the Son of Man. And we don't need to go into details. We all know the details of how they are destroying the Son of Man. Okay? These falling angels, okay? Falling people. These are people. Okay? They were spiritual beings at one time. But when they were kicked out of heaven, they lost their mojo. The reason why they were kicked out of heaven was because they were lusting after the sons of man's daughters and wives. Okay? And that was destructive to God, because their job was to be our protector, our hedge, our confidant, our advisors. Okay? That's what their job was. This is the reason why you see them in these positions today. But a lot of times, these people do not have your best interests. Okay? They do not. Look at all these celebrities that is coming up missing and taken out of here, and they still don't get it. What is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? Okay, you're giving up some mighty, mighty power when you hand over your power for a few dollars and a check. You're giving up some mighty power. Mighty, mighty power. Okay, so let's get deep. What if I told you that the history that you learned is a lie, of course, but let's fish through lies. Sometimes you can find the truth in a lie. Okay? So I play the lie in reverse. Everything, the whole world, I played it in reverse and backwards. And God helped me through it too, because it was very confusing. It was like a jigsaw, like the movies that we're showing all the time. Jigsaw, trying to put a puzzle together. They're giving us the pieces. They're telling us. They're laughing all in our face like, these people, you give them the truth and they still don't want God. They still don't want a healthy, moralistic, prosperous, loving, joyful life. They don't want it. Okay? So the United Nations is made up of 6 main origins, okay? And the main one is in New York. That's our headquarters. That's where they started. That's their starting point when they came over here and colonized our lands. And before Africa's war, okay, I don't know if they got amnesia or something, or forgot that they were in a war too, because white folks is over there praising them and using their power, their spiritual power, to destroy us. Okay? And that's the reason why Africa is under a curse. The Bible speaks very heavily about the curse that's upon Africa. Africa, they worship too many idols. One too many idols. They are breathing. I mean, their feet run to destroy man for money. Okay? So, let's get real deep a little bit. As you can see, Hillary Clinton, a few presidents, they're over there getting power from those Africans to come back over here, manipulate us, put us under mind control, to manipulate us so they can get a seat, so they can get in office and really get some control. Okay? So, there you have that. Witchcraft is very, very true. Voodoo is very, very real. You wonder why sometimes you just can't, something is going on, okay? You just can't get it together. Your mind want to do the right thing, but you can't get it together. It's because all this confusion, okay? This is the real Jesus that walked the earth, okay? The holiest man that walked the earth, Enoch. And this is the reason why he was left out of the Bible. He's mentioned a few times in the Bible, but not in great detail. His whole book is missing. So I advise you to educate yourself and get that book and read that book. It's going to give you all the answers that you need to know about where these people come from and what the hell they're up to and what they're doing. Okay? They already know. They're filming you so they can listen, it's deep. The Bible says that God keeps a record. There's an angel in heaven that keeps a record. The book of life keeps the record of everybody's movements, everybody's contributions, everybody's involvements in this life, good and bad. Okay? So, let's get down in a natural form. Look at what is happening here. These people are you're recording yourself. At this point, they're not even doing the work. You're recording yourself acting a fool. You're recording yourself exploiting yourself. You're recording yourself stealing, robbing, shooting, beating people up, taking people out. You're recording yourself. They're not even recording the footage anymore. They don't even need newscasters to cast anything. We're doing the work now. Okay? The love of money is the root of all evil. The root of all evil. You love it. And it's not just money, it's everything. It's material, it's everything. If you love everything more than your soul, because you got to love your soul. Okay? You got to see yourself in your soul. Your soul has to be more important than anything that is around you. Any object, anything. Okay, that you think is more important. Y'all's power is within your soul. That's the reason why they need it. They don't have a soul. They can't even feel. They're numb. They're thinking about survival until they get up out of here. They know they ain't about to get. That's the reason why death is gory. Things are the next best thing to pick on Netflix in these days. Okay. Watching somebody just take themselves out, or someone take someone out. Hearing gossip about somebody being taken out is juicy. Because we have fallen into the filthy mindset of these people who know what they are. They know what they are. They know where they come from. And their days are numbered. You have to pay attention to the signs. You have to pay attention to what's going on. They're telling you that certain parts of the world is drying up. Certain biblical things are happening. Okay, yeah, you may not believe everything that was written, but you have to find the truth. You have to fish. And you have to find the truth. Okay? All this praising of celebrities and praising of people and praising of a car and praising of a watch and praising of a person and booty and everything else. It ain't thought about, God, I'm breathing that fresh air today. God, I'm in good health. God, all my limbs are working properly. I'm not in a wheelchair, and I'm not offending anyone who's in a wheelchair, because they're just as independent, or if not more independent, than a person who has 2 legs walking. Okay? But they want the ability to have legs, to not have to use a wheelchair. Okay? So these people gave you your history. They told you Indians lived in long houses and no, they didn't. Vikings did. They did. This is how they lived. They was poor. They were poor. We were rich. We already had Wall Street. We already had we had buildings, we had cars. They couldn't believe how these black folks was living over here when they came over here on them ships. They said, oh no, we have to figure out a way to take this. So guess who they used? They couldn't do it by themselves. They're too small. Guess what they used? They used Africa. Africa is under a severe curse because they are the original people who started mingling, sleeping. Now, I don't have the clear vision of if it was consensual or if it wasn't consensual. I can see in the vision that some of it was consensual and some of it was not consensual. Okay. But I'm speaking for the consensual ones. You're under a curse because you are helping the enemy out and you don't even know what you're doing. You are walking the enemy to snatch souls from God, innocent souls. You are assisting. Okay? You are assisting the enemy to take God's souls. You're using magic. So Europe was hungry as hell, y'all. Europe was hungry and they was tired of starving. Those videos that they were showing us back in the National Geographic, and they were showing how Africa was poor and it was hungry and it was eating rice and beans and all that. It was true. They was hungry. Europe, the whole Europe, all of them, white, black, they were hungry. Okay, so they needed to come over here and take over. They needed to put us under slavery and let us be a machine to transport and export groceries to Europe. Okay. Yes, they are able to now build beautiful vegetation and whatnot, because if you don't know anything about science, you know that if any volcano erupts in a few years, I don't know if it's a few years, but a certain amount of years, it grows a whole new land. The vegetation grows better than it was before the volcano erupted. Okay, so fires to them is nothing. They don't mind burning down a whole city and starting all over again, burning down a whole country and starting all over again, because they know the vegetation going to grow back even better. Okay, because that's the way the earth is designed. And so, they use these Africans. Okay, yeah, they came over on boats. Africa helped them come over on boats. They weren't on no chains and all that bullshit. Those pictures, that's bullshit. They came over here with their guns and stuff, and they helped fight that war, World War I. Okay, they helped. Well, World War I was them. World War II was us. Okay, so they helped them fight World War II because they had lost World War I. Okay, so this is the offspring, the kids of their ancestors, helping them fight a war against us indigenous Indians in the United States of America. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot. Your ancestors had wealth for you. Generational wealth. Just like how you see white folks now walking around here. That's our wealth. If you just have to reverse it. If you reverse it, it's really ours. They stole it. Okay? Those mansions, them houses, everything that they live in. A lot of people, even their identity was stolen. As far as their name, they were killing people and stealing their deeds to their houses. They were stealing their whole identity, their name. Okay, a lot of the names that white folks, their name don't even belong to them. They under a whole different identity. Where do you think all this stuff come from? It started from them. This stuff did not exist until they got here, till they were doing this nonsense. And I saw a video the other day that now Africa is talking about they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know that we was under slavery and this and that and the third. How? When y'all was helping them fight the war? How? How didn't you know? And y'all was helping them in the war. Come on now. Y'all been helping them. Y'all the most intelligent people on the planet when it comes to building and technology and all that stuff. The motherland. But you're under a severe curse because you will not get up off your knees and fight for a right cause. You'd rather fight each other and brutally massacre each other than to fight against your own enemy. That is set. That has a set date for expiration. They have a set date for expiration. Do you know that? All that mumbo jumbo, this and the third, Jesus coming back, and this and the third. Yeah, there's some truth into that story. But you gotta dig deeper. You have to dig deeper because, see, they narrowed the story down as if God is coming back to judge one person. That this, and do you hear the lie? He was kicked out of heaven because he was jealous. Oh, that's the reason why we all had the question in church, like, well, God can't forgive him for that. Well, damn, God is a hard God. Like, I don't want to do nothing wrong. If he got kicked out just because he wanted to be God, he wanted to be a little judge. He was a little admirer. He admired a guy. He admired this guy so much. God put him. Do you hear that little lie? That little fib? That's what we call those fibs. No, they did something greater than that. They got them exiled from heaven. They went into the wives and the daughters of the Son of Man. And spiritual beings are not allowed to breed with humans. God did not design us for that. Just like we are not allowed to breed with animals.
And it came to pass,
okay? He did not allow
the children
that.
of men had increased in those days.
So let's listen to this.
And comely
book
daughters
of
were born to them. And the angels, the sons of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, Behold, we will choose for ourselves wives from among the children of men, and will beget for ourselves children. And Semyaza, who was their leader, said to them, I fear that perhaps ye will not be willing to do this deed, and I alone shall suffer for this great sin. Then all answered him and said, We all will swear an oath, and bind ourselves mutually by a curse, that we will not give up this plan, but will make this plan a deed. Then they all swore together, and bound themselves mutually by a curse, and together they were 200. And they descended on Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn on it and bound themselves mutually by a curse.
So I showed you where Mount Hermon is and earlier, if you can want to rewind a little bit, but it's right there above Africa. It's actually just Europe. Let's just round it off. Let's stop narrowing down little positions, little places. It's actually above Africa. It's Europe. It's all of Europe. That's where Mount Hermon. These people swore, these 200 falling spiritual beings, okay, angels, that had the ability to, that had eternal life, okay. This is where they swore that they will go into the sons of man's daughters and wives and create this undespicable thing. This is the reason why they have certain sins that has a highlight on it, because they know they did the most despicable thing that you can do to God, okay? Disrespect God in the most way. That's like us really going out and start really having sex with animals. Okay, knowing that God didn't create us to have sex with animals. That's just disrespectful. And they did something that's disrespectful. They were spiritual. They had high power. They were supposed to be here to protect. They didn't have the ability to reproduce. They weren't designed for that. Okay, we're all here for a design. We all design an ant, down to an ant. An ant even know their design. They ain't complaining and saying, damn, I'm an ant. Why I gotta be a damn ant? I want to be a big ass human. No, the ant is playing its position. We all need to play our positions. And these spiritual beings, these 200, there's only 200 of them, they disrespected God. Okay, they went against nature. And they are still going against nature to this very day, because God even gave them another instruction where he probably would have forgiven them if they'd have followed his instructions and really started, keeping man's soul in the right way, not harvesting their soul to take them under. Okay, harvesting their soul so they can get to the right place, they can get to heaven. That's what you're supposed to do. So these spiritual beings had babies in real life. Okay, they had giants. Okay, and they lied to you about your history, about where you're from, about what direction, about planets and all that stuff, which the book of Enoch talks about, because they wanted to distract you and lead you away from God, lead you away from the real joy of life. Okay, because they're miserable. I heard that saying, says misery loves company. It's true, misery loves company. They want us to love blood and gore and our kids. Look at our kids, the games and stuff they choose. Something that stuff my nieces and nephews. I'm like, you want to play this game? Yeah, it's fun. And they innocent. You can see the innocence. They don't know no better, but they're being programmed. Okay, God is not happy with this. He is actually very, very upset, disgusted. Okay, and there is some justice. There is some justice. There is justice. There is justice. There is justice. And justice will be served. Okay. This is the correct map. These people are from that little white spot right there that you see right there. A cold place. That's what God casted them at. That's where hell is. Hell is a place that no vegetation, they don't eat. Okay? These people, they do not eat. They're not hungry for food. Okay? They're hungry for your soul. They're hungry for your mind. They spend a lot of time. They will stay up smoking coke or snorting coke and everything to snatch a dollar, snatch your soul, snatch your mind, snatch your work, your feet, your limbs, your talent, everything about you, the makeup of you. They work overtime. Okay? These little people over there. And they have convinced Africa, what you see right there in the corner, to push up on us, to run up on us. Okay? They have convinced them. First, they created a war with them, World War I. Look, it's in order, how they moved. World War I pushed in. Then they pushed into the United States. They used Africa to help them push into the United States. Only 200 of them. There's no way they can conquer this world without using the people of its own land, like they used the United States, black men, to go over and fight that Vietnam War and all other wars that we're still in. Okay? You people over here in the United States of America, black people, you wonder why you can't get it together. You wonder why we ain't living the authentic joy of life. It's because you're under a curse also, as well as Africa. You're using your men to go fight in a war that is not your war. The war do not belong to you. Okay? Let those spiritual beings that keep trying to get to heaven, that fantasize so much for the grace and the forgiveness, they want God to see how filthy, how disgusting that we can be. And they want to position themselves as righteous. That's why they never advertise anything, what they really doing on the news. But they'll give you a little, because they're so filthy and they're so they like to wallow in their mess. So they'll give you a movie, give you a series, break it down. But for the most part, the real footage of their brutality on this earth, they keep hidden in treasures and museums and books. They know you ain't gonna take no time to read it. You ain't gonna research nothing. Okay? There's a small group of people that's ruling and got your minds from Africa all the way to Asia. Got your minds twisted. Hating one another. Really seeing a difference in one another because of the color of your skin. Can you imagine how sick this is? I had a girlfriend that I grew up with, that her mother couldn't stand her because she was darker than the rest of her whole family. She birthed her and she couldn't stand her. We're living in a sick mindset. We have given up on God. We have taken on the traits of the fallen ones, and they love it. They're wallowing in it like pigs wallow in mud. They love it. Okay? Enjoying every bit of it. So, the Titanic story that they gave to you of how they came in to New York, that's what they really did. Only 706 of them survived. 3,000 of them supposed to set out on the voyage. Now let's talk about this 3,000, because I keep saying 200 if you notice. There's only 200 fallen beings. But when they came in and had kids amongst the sons of man, wives and daughters, they created kids. And their kids created kids and kids and kids and kids. You know, families created. And that's when the first murder happened on earth, when they talk about Cain and Abel. Okay? And God called them the Watchers. As you notice, they're always using rockets to try to get to heaven or show us different planets and things. But they're really showing us images of deserted places of where they're from. No vegetation, no life, no water, no nothing. They don't require food. So God they don't need that. They're under a curse. So they don't get those rights. So they use their children, the mixture of the Son of Man and the spiritual being's children, to fight these wars and conquer land, okay, and put man under slavery and bondage and destroy his family and his moral way of thinking and the natural way of what family is supposed to be and look like, okay? These are images of ships, warships, that they were using in the 1800s. So those corny boats that they're showing you that Christopher Columbus corny ass sailed over and bullshit, there was no way they could have conquered all of this land with that crappy equipment. This is the real equipment of what they were using, okay? This is the congregation of when they set the meeting to do the destruction on Mount Hermon, on which the Bible speaks on, the book of Enoch speaks on. And also there is a lot of wars that happen over in Syria and Iraq, and there's always war going on because the majority of the Watchers are that way, and they are the one Europe controls. Europe is the Watchers. That's the main headquarters, is Europe. They conquered the United States by coming in through New York and working their way down all the way to the west, north to south, east to west. Okay. So when these Watchers came, They had to create a plan. They went to Enoch and they asked Enoch, they wrote a letter to God to ask for forgiveness. And Enoch came back and sent them a message and said that they can't be forgiven, that God gave you instructions to be the protectors of Son of Man, to lead their souls to not sin. That's what their job is to do. And I mean, any kid that is upset with their parent is probably going to do the opposite instead of follow those instructions, not knowing that maybe that their father might forgive them. But because the selfishness, the greed, it caused them to say, screw that, we're not helping them do anything. We shall call them niggers. And that's what they shall be until they die. And we will work day and night to exterminate them. The book of Enoch is very detailed and talks about them. And this is the reason why this was a specific book left out of the Holy Scriptures. So this is the original Moses, the original Jesus Christ, the original Honorable Muhammad Ali. This was the first man that walked the earth who was holy, who walked with God, and God showed him every corner, all the four corners of the earth, showed him even heaven and hell, parts of heaven and hell. Okay, this is a book in Africa. His name was Enoch. He was the only righteous man. He is the Noah. He's the only righteous man in Africa. So the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, all that's in Africa. All those biblical stories have truths to them. They just have white characters, white faces, change names. But it's all truth. So the fallen ones used the Son of Man, which started in Africa, to fight wars, to conquer islands, countries, and people. I advise you to get this book. Even if you go on YouTube, listen to the audio. It's very helpful information. It discusses how the fallen beings created children that were giants. These are actual pictures of giants that was found in Africa, because this is where it started at, into the flood.
And I had so long a veil upon my face, and I trembled, and the Lord called me with his own voice, and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, and to my holy word. And he caused me to arise, and I went to the door, but I bent my face downwards. Chapter 15. And he answered and spoke to me with his word, Hear, and fear not, Enoch, thou just man and scribe of justice. Approach hither, and hear my words. And go, say to the watchers of heaven who have sent thee, that thou shouldst petition for them. Ye should petition for men, and not men for you. Why have ye left the high, holy, and everlasting heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughter of men, and taken wives unto yourselves, and acted like the children of earth, and begotten giants as sons? While ye were spiritual, holy, having eternal life, ye defiled yourselves with women, and with the blood of flesh have begotten children, and have lusted after the blood of men, and have produced flesh and blood, as they produce who die and are destroyed. Therefore I have given them wives that they might impregnate them, and children be born by them, as it is done on earth. Ye were formerly spiritual, living an eternal life without death to all the generations of the world. Therefore, I have not made for you any wives, for spiritual beings have their home in heaven. And now the giants, who have been begotten from body and flesh, will be called evil spirits on earth, and their dwelling places will be upon the earth. Evil spirits proceed from their bodies, because they are created from above, their beginning and first basis being from the holy watchers. They will be evil spirits upon the earth, and will be called evil spirits. But the spirits of heaven have their dwelling places in heaven, and the spirits of the earth, who were born on the earth, have their dwelling places on earth. And the spirits of the giants, who cast themselves upon the clouds, will be destroyed and fall, and will battle and cause destruction on the earth, and do evil. They will take no kind of food, nor will they become thirsty, and they will be invisible. And these spirits will not rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them in the days of murder and destruction.
So the
Chapter
offspring
16.
of these beings, these children's beings, are always going to create destruction, murder, because they share the same bloodline. Okay, so that's the reason why the minds are conflicting sometimes. But we have to tap into our spiritual side and stay there. Know who we are, where we come from. We can't get lost in this greed. And really it's over nothing, because they know they can't take any of this with them.
And
they just want to
previous
live a
to all
comfortable
these
life.
things,
In the meantime,
Enoch was hidden, and not one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he was, and what had become of him. And all his deeds were with the holy ones, and with the watchers in his days. And I, Enoch, was praising the great Lord, and the King of the world. And behold, the watchers called to me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of justice, go, announce to the watchers of heaven, who have left the high heaven and the holy, eternal place, and have contaminated themselves with women, and have done as the children of men do, and have taken to themselves wives, and are contaminated in great contamination upon the earth. But upon earth they shall have no peace, nor forgiveness of sin, for they will not enjoy their children. They will see the murder of their beloved ones, and they will lament over the destruction of their children, and will petition to eternity, but mercy and peace will not be unto them. Chapter 13. And Enoch, departing, said to Azazel, Thou wilt have no peace, a great condemnation has come upon thee, and he will bind thee, and alleviation and intercession and mercy will not be unto thee, because thou hast taught oppression, and because of all the deeds of abuse, oppression, and sin which thou hast showed to the children of men. And then going, I spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Fear and trembling seized them, and they asked me to write a memorial petition for them, that they thereby might attain forgiveness, and to carry their memorial petition before God into heaven. For they could not, from now on, speak with him, nor could they raise their eyes towards heaven from shame on account of their sins for which they were being punished. Then I wrote this memorial petition, and prayed with reference to their souls, and for each of their deeds, and for that which they had asked of me, that they thereby might obtain forgiveness and patience. And going, I sat down near the waters of Dan in Dan, which is to the right of the evening side of Hermon, and read their memorial petition till I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell upon me, and I saw the vision of chastisement, to show to the sons of heaven and to upbraid them. And having become awake, I went to them, and they were all sitting assembled, lamenting at Ublegiel, which is between the Lebanon and the Senesaer, with their faces covered. And I related before them all the visions that I had seen in my sleep, and commenced to speak those words of justice, and to upbraid the watchmen of heaven. Chapter 14.
So here you can see Africa is using voodoo to help this president get into the presidency, to mind control the indigenous people, the original people of this land. So yeah, let's go back to that map. This is where they swore, those watchers, 200. They swore and made a bond and disrespected God and said, we gonna do this thing. Forget what he talking about. We gonna do this. We gonna cancel out our eternal life, cancel out our spiritualism, cancel out our powers, our real powers, and we gonna narrow ourselves down to a human, because they just so fascinating. They're so beautiful. We gotta have a piece of that. They mess with God's, and you don't mess with God's property. You don't mess with God's possessions. And they messed up big time. So while we over there wondering why the hell Iraq and them is fighting each other and killing each other and whooping each other's ass, the book of Enoch, according to the book of Enoch, that's what they're supposed to do. The offspring of people who did something, who committed something that they weren't supposed to do, that's the offspring. He said that your offspring is going to fight each other and kill each other. That's what y'all going to do. And that's what they're doing. And they're trying to use us and drag us in their mess. We ain't, listen, that's why a lot of times us black folks, we be like, well, war for what? We don't got nothing to do with nothing. And that's the way your mind should be. You don't got nothing to do with nothing. Stop following the culture. The American dream is shot out, washed up, and it was filled with lies. They over there in Africa trying to get power and spiritualism to try to voodoo us and get us to vote and put them in office and keep them in power over us when they don't got no power. We give them the power. They have no authority. They'll be poor and suffering. They don't care about food. They just want comfort while they're here. They want to rest their feet, lay on a comfortable pillow, and be in a secure home.
The Book of Enoch, Section 1, Chapter 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the chosen and just, who will exist on the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and impious shall be removed. And then answered and spoke Enoch, a just man, whose eyes were opened by God, so that he saw a holy vision in the heavens, which
for a holy vision to see from the heavens. There is hope. Well, we don't have to wait around on Jesus Christ to come back, because we'd have been waiting to hell for hell to freeze. Hell would have been freezing over. We know that the chosen ones, there's gonna be a day when the wicked is going to be snatched up out of here. See, it's not us that's leaving. God created this planet for us to enjoy it. He loves us running around here doing our little thing. It's them who leaving. They wanted us to convince us that we was going somewhere, that one day we going and look forward to it. But in all reality, their days is numbered. There's going to be a day that God is calling them away, calling them up out of here. And sometimes we got to look at things as a positive. I tried to see the bright side during the pandemic and the COVID and whatnot. And I said, wait a minute, let me see God through this. I said, I'm safe, I'm sound. Most of the people I know, they're safe and sound. You know, God, I'm sorry for people who have, we're safe, we're sound. We spend so much time complaining and stuff because we lost. We don't know what the hell going on. We can't see what's going on because they're spending billions of dollars to let us lose our way. Let us fall short in sin, and we get snatched up out of here like them, because that's where they going. They getting up out of here. They leave. Their days is numbered. You heard that book? That book said that there's gonna be a day when the Most High come down here, when God come back down here, and snatch these people up out of here. They don't belong here.
We spent the day soaking in the sights and sounds of the slum, getting pinched and tackled by children, and interviewing various individuals inside the slum, and getting a general feeling of what it was like to live there.
So nobody on this planet think they're better than nobody. All around the world, we all being used to fight one another. Africa, y'all fought the Indians. America, y'all went over there and tore China and Russia up. That's why we got beef with them. It's a constant recyclement. It's a constant, and it's the watchers that's you playing and using us against one another because they know that their days are numbered. Yes, there is a mixed bloodline, but there's gonna be a day that they up out of here. So all these people that know what's going on, they don't get themselves right, get their heart right, you're up out of here. Gone. Might be another pandemic, who knows? You up out of here. Yeah, so y'all can keep on watching us and recording us. And y'all gotta start recording yourselves acting a fool, because that's what they gonna present to the Father when their judgment day come. Okay? The object is for you to go with them. You don't want to do that. Trust me. Where they're going, it is not a place fun. So, all that jealousy over each other, about what each other got, is the root of all evil. It's gonna take you up out of here right along with them watchers.
Now in this video we're going to be talking about how us black people hurt and angered our God, and ultimately made him furious to the point where he put curses on us that explain why we are in the situation we are in today. There's a huge worldwide awakening taking place right now that is basically centered around the fact that us so-called black people, we are the children of Israel.
We are the children of Israel. So wake up. Wake up. Stop all the voodoo. There's a scripture from the Holy Book that says, This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for man shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to their parents. Man, that's some deep stuff. Unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. What do we see today? Every day all over the world. That is the curse. We looking for a curse from everywhere else. That is the curse. Us not getting along with one another. Us fighting. Us warring for what? Something that belongs to us in the first place. We're just making the watchers comfortable. Though the watchers have become your gods, and you have basically reenacted the things that God does not like. The things that they teach, that they're teaching, that thing that they call society, disobedience, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. Come on, look at this. Despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. 2 Timothy 3:1-4. This is what's happening. People love themselves and everything else more than God. In order to love yourself, you gotta have God. Can't give up on God. Because when you give up on God, you're gonna have to do what the watchers tell you to do. Free will. Your choice. Your choice. If you want to learn more about that book of Enoch, go on YouTube, put in audiobook Enoch, just listen. Everything that book is talking about, the living proof, is on earth. It's been shown to us year after year since the pictures were black and white. Now they're motion and in color, high definition. Come on now, people. We got to get our power back. We lost our power. We gave our power to the witches and warlocks. They have basically turned this whole planet into a circus, made the animals into bondage, turned the humans into bondage. They turn God's creation, his natural form of life, into a circus. And they're mocking him and laughing. Some of them just don't even care. No remorse. I'm gonna die anyway. And when I worked in those nursing homes, that's exactly how they went out. Died like dirty dogs. They don't care. Turn God's natural habitat for his animals, plants, and humans into a circus clown. Got y'all Africans bleaching y'all skin, wishing y'all was white. Yeah, Michael Jackson started it over here. But y'all actually made this into y'all culture. This is sick. This is some sick stuff. And everybody on these YouTube channels talking all this shit about what they think they know. Y'all on the money, but not quite. Sometimes we gotta look in the mirror at ourselves before we can teach anybody anything to begin with. Anyways, for the love of money is the root of all evil. We have decided that our survival is more important than our salvation. When we had salvation, we didn't have to worry about survival. God is not pleased, but He is coming back for justice. He will clean up this planet again. And that rainbow, that promise that He made, that He will not flood you out again like He flooded out those unnatural beings that was created, that He did not create. He made a promise that He wouldn't do the Son of Man like that again. But He is coming to remove every entity that is causing man to sin, is getting up off this planet. So get prepared and watch how fast things change. People who are intelligent, talented, spiritual, full of love and nurture and care, get ready to position yourselves, because your time is coming. The meek shall inherit the earth. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. When God comes back, every knee is going to bow, and every tongue is going to confess that God does exist. So, if you want more videos like this, please like and subscribe and leave a comment and let me know, what did you think and how do you feel? And take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, I will talk to you later. Oh, and get that book, Enoch, full of intelligence, full of answers to your questions. Blessings to you. Take care, chosen ones.